Clue 2 is here. We're gonna have 2 options for Clue 2, and this is the moment to incorporate your Mohair dare. This week's instructions include a brioche option for you brioche knitters. You can learn how to knit brioche with these video tutorials, or you could do an easy eyelets option and skip ahead in the pattern to knit some eyelets instead of brioche. If you're following this video, make sure you have your pattern printed out or in another window on your screen and follow along with the written instructions as you watch this video. And if you're doing the brioche option and you want to do a mohair dare, the mohair dare is going to be your contrast color. So if this is your main color and this is your contrast color, you could use mohair instead of your contrast color to go along with your main color and do a mohair dare as your contrast color. And same for the eyelets. If you're doing the eyelets option, you can have your main color, and then the contrast color could be the mohair. If your main color is this green yarn and you want to use your mohair as your main color, you could do that as well. I recommend doing it for the contrast color eyelets or the background brioche section for your mohair dare. But if you want to use your mohair as the main color instead, that's totally up to you, and it's going to look just as beautiful. If you're using mohair, I recommend just to use 1 strand of mohair for your mohair dare during the brioche and the eyelets sections. 1 strand of lace weight mohair will add a little drapey fluff to the shawl. I used 2 strands of mohair held together for my brioche section, so it was extra fluffy, but then I used most of my ball of mohair. So if you're doing 2 strands of mohair held together to create a thicker, fluffier effect in this clue, you're just gonna have a little bit of mohair left later to add a tiny little mohair touch later on in the shawl. But if you want to add sprinkle in some mohair to a couple other moments in the shawl, then just do 1 strand of mohair for your mohair dare, and then you'll have enough left over for some of my other mohair dare moments. So let's get going with the brioche or eyelets instructions and our clue 2. The next section, you get to choose between brioche ribbing or eyelets. The eyelets section is much easier, so I recommend doing the eyelets to have some fun, easy stripes with your main color and contrast color. And this is also a fun section to incorporate a mohair dare. You could add a strand of lace weight mohair together with your contrast color during this entire next section for the brioche or the eyelets. So that could be a matching color to your contrast color or a completely different color. You could hold that lace weight together and have a marled contrast color section during the brioche or eyelets. Or you could use a strand of mohair instead of your contrast color. So if you want to use a mohair dare, then you could get an extra color. This could be a brand new color, and you could hold a strand of that yarn as your contrast color throughout this section as a substitute. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the brioche section. The eyelets are really, really easy with just knits and purls and yarn overs. So skip ahead to the eyelets section if you want to follow along and do little eyelet stripes. You can skip ahead in this video to see any of these techniques. For the brioche version, this is row 1, right side, using main color. If you've never done brioche before, then I recommend practicing brioche ribbing on a swatch first, because we have a lot of stitches. So if it's your first time, then try brioche knitting a little swatch with some of my brioche video tutorials. And otherwise, this is brioche row 1, right side, using main color, knit 3, knit, yarn over, knit, knit, yarn over, and knit into that next stitch. So we're getting 3 stitches coming from 1 stitch for the increase. Knit, yarn over, knit, and then knit to last 4 stitches. This is an easy setup row, just knitting with your main color to the last 4 stitches. At the end of row 1 brioche with the main color, at the last 4 stitches, knit, yarn over, knit, and then slip 3 with yarn in front. Do not turn your work. Leave the main color at the end of the right side, and then slide all of the stitches on your circular needle over to your other needle tip to look at the right side again. for row 1 right side using contrast color. I'm going to use 2 strands of my lace weight mohair held together to make it a bit more fluffy and saturated, but you can use just 1 strand of lace weight mohair as your contrast color, or just use your normal contrast color if you don't want to do a mohair dare. Row 1 right side using contrast color, knit 3, slip 1 yarn over. I'm going to show this first for continental style knitters, and then you could skip ahead to see it for English style knitters. Slip 1 yarn over, the yarn is in front as you slip. Purl 1, slip 1 yarn over to last 3 stitches. Purl 1, slip 1 with a yarn over. Purl 1. So the slip 1 yarn over is a whole symbol that represents slipping the stitch with the yarn over, but the yarn always needs to be in front first before you slip, and then purl 1. So it's not slipping first and then doing a yarn over like that. It's slip 1 with a yarn over, so the yarn always needs to be in front before you slip, and then it comes around to purl. Slip 1 with a yarn over, purl 1. Slip 1 with a yarn over, purl 1. And then you get this little, it looks like a little yarn over shawl on every other stitch, like the stitch is wearing a shawl with that fluffy mohair dare contrast color. Slip with a yarn over, purl 1. Slip with a yarn over, purl 1. If you hold the yarn in your right hand and you just knitted 3 at the beginning of the row and then slip 1 yarn over, the yarn was in back after you knitted 3, so you need to bring the yarn forward to slip. So you can slip the stitch and then give it a yarn over to purl. Slip 1 with the yarn over. As we purl, the yarn is already in front, so you can slip, yarn over, purl. Slip 1 with a yarn over, purl. Slip 1 with a yarn over, giving that stitch a little yarn over shawl, there, 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 and then purl. Slip, yarn over, purl. Slip 1 with a yarn over. Do that all the way to the last 3 stitches. Purl 1, slip 1, yarn over to last 3 stitches. At the end of row 1, using contrast color, purl 1, slip 1 with a yarn over, and then bring the yarn in front to slip the last 3 with yarn in front. I'll do that one more time for you English style knitters, holding the yarn in your right hand. Purl 1, slip 1 with a yarn over. The yarn is in front to slip the last 3. Turn to work row 2, wrong side, using the main color. This is what that row looks like after working row 1 with contrast color. On row 2, using main color, knit 3, one, 2, 3, brioche purl 1. That means to purl the stitch and its yarn over shawl, that little yarn over, together. So bring the yarn forward to brioche purl 1. Slip 1, yarn over, brioche purl 1 to last 3 stitches. So the yarn is in front to slip, giving it a yarn over, bring the yarn forward to brioche purl 1, the stitch and that contrast color yarn over together. Slip 1 yarn over, brioche purl, slip 1 with a yarn over, brioche purl, slip one with a yarn over, brioche purl, slip one with a yarn over, brioche purl. Every other stitch has that main color yarn over going whoosh, whoosh, that direction over every other stitch. Slip one with a yarn over, brioche purl. If you hold the yarn in your right hand, after you knitted the first 3 stitches, the yarn is in back, and then slip one yarn over, bring the yarn forward before you slip. Give it a yarn over so you can brioche purl the stitch and its yarn over together. Slip one with a yarn over, brioche purl, slip one with a yarn over, brioche purl. So you're always slipping the opposite color stitch that you're working with. So I'm working with my orange. That means I'm slipping that purple mohair, giving it a yarn over, and then I'm always purling the same color with its contrast yarn over. Brioche purl. It looks like a purl 2 together, but we always treat that stitch, that slipped stitch, the yarn over stitch, as one. So it's like a stitch wearing an outfit, wearing a little shawl. So they need to go together. They're always together. Slip the single, purl the pair. Slip the single, purl the pair. Slip with a yarn over, brioche purl. Slip with a yarn over, brioche purl. Continue to slip one yarn over, brioche purl to last 3 stitches. At the end of row 2, using main color, slip one yarn over, brioche purl one to last 3 stitches. Keep the yarn in front to slip the last 3 with yarn in front. Do not turn. Slide the stitches to the other needle tip to look at the wrong side again. Using contrast color, row 2, wrong side. The yarn is in back. Knit 3 with the contrast color. Slip one yarn over. The yarn is in front as you slip. Brioche knit 1. So just keep that yarn on top of the needle and the yarn is in back to knit the next stitch together with its yarn over. Slip one yarn over. The yarn needs to be in front to slip. Brioche knit. Slip one with a yarn over. Brioche knit. Slip one with a yarn over. Brioche knit. Slip one with a yarn over. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do another yarn over around the needle. You just have the yarn in front always before you slip. And then this is the yarn over, the yarn going over the needle. Just like that. And it's ready to brioche knit. Slip, yarn over, brioche knit. Yarn is in front to slip, brioche knit. Yarn in front before you slip, brioche knit. Yarn in front to slip, brioche knit. If you hold the yarn in your right hand, you just knitted 3 stitches and the yarn is in back. Slip one with the yarn over, bring the yarn forward to slip. And then you can just dive in to knit, because as you brioche knit, that yarn travels over the needle to do that. Slip one with the yarn over. Bring the yarn forward first to slip. The yarn is just going to go over the needle as you knit. Slip one with the yarn over. Slip one with the yarn in front, and then knit the next stitch together with its yarn over. Slip one with the yarn over. The yarn is in front. Slip. And you see that yarn over happening now because it has to go over the needle as you brioche knit. So make sure your work looks like this. Every other stitch has its contrast color yarn over. When you pause your knitting and you're like, what do I do? Do I slip? Do I knit? Do you see these single stitches? Those need to be slipped with the yarn over. And those other stitches, those already have the yarn over on top of the stitch. So those need to be knitted on the wrong side with the contrast color. Yarn forward to slip that single stitch. Brioche knit the pair. Yarn forward to slip. Brioche knit. Yarn forward to slip. Brioche knit. Keep on going all the way to the last 3 stitches. Brioche knit one. Slip one with a yarn over to last 3 stitches. At the end of row 2, using contrast color, brioche knit one, slip one with a yarn over, and bring that yarn forward to slip the last 3 stitches with yarn in front. Turn to work row 3, right side, using main color. Using main color, knit 3, brioche knit one, slip one yarn over to last 4 stitches. Brioche knit one, slip one with a yarn over. Brioche knit, slip one with a yarn over. Brioche knit, slip one with a yarn over. If you hold the yarn in your right hand, you're going to brioche knit the stitch together with that little yarn over. For the slip one with the yarn over, make sure the yarn is in front before you slip, and then brioche knit. The yarn is in front as you slip, and then brioche knit. Slip one with a yarn over, and here is the yarn over that's being formed as you knit. So it should look like this. Every other stitch has that little yarn over shawl on the needle. Keep on going. Brioche knit one, slip one yarn over to last 4 stitches. At the end of row 3, using main color, slip one yarn over to last 4 stitches, and then brioche knit one. So brioche knit one, slip one yarn over to last 4 stitches. Do the brioche knit one, and then slip 3 with yarn in front. Don't turn after you finish the main color. Look at the same side and slide the stitches over to work the right side, row 3 with contrast color. Using contrast color, row 3 right side, knit 3, slip one with a yarn over. The yarn needs to be in front before you slip, and then the yarn is on top of the needle for that slip one yarn over. Bring the yarn forward to brioche purl. We're going to brioche purl one, slip one yarn over to last 3 stitches. That was the brioche purl. Slip one with a yarn over. Brioche purl. slip one with a yarn over, brioche purl, slip one with a yarn over, brioche purl, slip one with a yarn over. If you hold the yarn in your right hand, brioche purl, the yarn is in front already as you purl, so you're ready to slip. Give it a yarn over, brioche purl, slip with a yarn over, brioche purl. The yarn is in front to slip. It needs a yarn over, and we have to brioche purl. Slip with a yarn over, brioche purl. Brioche purl one, slip one yarn over to last 3 stitches. At the end of row 3 right side using contrast color, brioche purl one, slip one with a yarn over, bring the yarn in front to slip the last 3 stitches with yarn in front. And row 4, turn to work row 4 with the main color and then with the contrast color. You're going to be doing a brioche purl with the main color, and then you'll be doing the brioche knits with the contrast color. These are identical to row 2, so you can use the timestamps linked down below to watch row 2 again using main color and row 2 using contrast color. It's the same as row 4. So I'll see you after row 4. After you complete row 4 with the contrast color, row 5 using main color, we're going to do some increases at the edges. Using main color, row 5, knit 3, bark yarn over bark, brioche knit yarn over brioche knit. Brioche knit into that next stitch, leave it on the needle, yarn over, brioche knit into the same stitch, and then take it off, resulting in 3 stitches coming from 1 stitch. One more time for you English style knitters. Brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit into the same stitch, and then take it off. Slip one with a yarn over, brioche knit, slip one with a yarn over, brioche knit one, slip one yarn over to last 4 stitches. Keep doing the brioche knits with the main color to get that beautiful brioche ribbing, and then you'll do that same brioche knit, yarn over brioche knit into that stitch. Whenever you reach the last 4 stitches right here, you'll do the brioche knit, yarn over brioche knit into that stitch. The rest of the instructions are the similar techniques to what you did. And lastly, when you do row 5 with the contrast color, you'll be knitting 3 at the beginning, and then you're gonna slip this one with the yarn over, and then you're just gonna do a regular purl one into this stitch, and then slip 1 yarn over, and then brioche purl, slip, brioche purl, slip. So the only difference is rows 5, you'll do that brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, and then you'll do the slip, regular purl, slip, for the contrast color. So follow rows 5, 6, 7, and 8 closely, and make sure you do the correct brioche knits or the brioche purls, depending on which side you are. Follow those rows closely and you'll get some beautiful brioche ribbing. Once you complete row 8 of the brioche section, it should look like this, with the main color knits on the right side, and then you have your contrast color on the wrong side. Row 9, right side, using main color. After you finish row 8, you can break your contrast color, whether that's the Mohair Dare, you can break your Mohair Dare. If you kept using your contrast color, your original contrast color, you can keep that attached. But if you did a Mohair Dare for the brioche section, then you could break that Mohair contrast color. Row 9, using main color, knit 3, make 1, Brioche knit one to last 4 stitches. Brioche knit one, and then just knit regular that next stitch. So we're knitting all the way across the row. You'll be working the brioche knit into that stitch that has the yarn over, and you'll be doing a regular knit one into the stitch from this purl column. Brioche knit one, brioche knit one, knit one. Keep following your rows closely. Whether you're doing the brioche option or the eyelets option, follow your instructions closely to make sure you're doing the right knits and the increases for the right rows. And then we'll be doing 4 more total rows with the main color. We're going to get a little bit more garter stitch now after the brioche or the eyelets section. And then we're going to do another bubble section and some more brioche and bubbles. So follow the instructions. I've showed you all the techniques now for the brioche and that fun bubble stitch. We're going to repeat these beautiful motifs to do some more bubble motifs and another section of the brioche or the eyelets. So keep on going with your brioche or eyelets section. And again, the next time you do the brioche or the eyelet section, you could use your Mohair Dare again for the next contrast color eyelets or contrast color brioche. Keep on knitting, kitten. I just completed the bubbles and brioche sections. You should have 409 stitches and 3 of these bubble sections and 2 sections of either the brioche or the eyelets. So if you did the eyelets option, then you should have little eyelet stripes here and here with your garter stitch and eyelet stripes. And the 409 stitches should be what you have after completing the final row. And here's the edge, that right edge with the increases. And keep on doing that weave in Stephen as you introduce any new colors throughout this project. And here's the left edge with the 3 bubbles and the 2 brioche bands. So if you're watching this to see what these final sections look like of this clue, then this is what we're aiming for. I used the Mohair Dare as my contrast color for the brioche section, and this is what it looks like. I had a little bit of yarn remaining from my 25-gram ball of mohair because I held my mohair double. So if I want to do another Mohair Dare, I might get another mohair color later to add that. If you use just 1 strand of mohair, then you're going to have a lot of yarn left over to do another Mohair Dare later in the shawl. But this is what it looks like if you incorporate that Mohair Dare as the contrast color. You could use the Mohair Dare as your contrast color if you're doing the eyelets option. So get creative and feel free to customize your colors throughout this section. But I love the geometry that's taking form on top of those fun little modular shapes. Go, go, Dynamo. Let's keep on going. So that's the end of clue 2. You have 409 stitches on your circular needle. Make sure you keep those stitches on your needle for the next clue. And this is what the final clue looks like of clue 2. We've got some fun bubbles going on, continuing from that first little bubble glimpse at the end of clue 1. More bubble motifs, beautiful color pops. If you've done that Mohair Dare, maybe you have a new color incorporated, a 3rd color into your shawl already. And if you got excited by seeing the Mohair Dares from our fellow knitters, then get some mohair for the next section. If you haven't done some mohair yet, then you could always incorporate it in later sections in the knit along. But we've got brioche or eyelets. Maybe you've done that easy eyelets version with those beautiful drapey little holes. It's getting really fun with all these new techniques sprinkled into the shawl, but it still doesn't look quite like many shawls I've knitted before. So I wonder where we're going. Leave a comment down below where you think we're gonna go with this shawl, or maybe what other techniques will come in the later clues. So leave a comment down below with your guesses, and hopefully you're getting inspired with where we're taking this shawl journey. So don't forget to share your progress in the Ravelry group or on Instagram with the hashtag WestKnitsMCal2024 or the hashtag GoGoDynamoShawl. And the fun is seeing each other's palettes and getting inspired by those Mohair Dare moments. So I hope you're embracing the mystery and going at your own pace. You don't gotta rush through each clue. Take your time, and we'll be back next week for clue 3.